Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Quick question. It's Saturday night here as I record this. Is anybody else getting snowed on? I live in the Midwest, and I'll just say this. It's a nice place to live. I am not going to retire here. Okay? I need beaches, damn it. I'm sure some other people out there living in the Midwest are experiencing that as well, so I just thought I'd check the pulse out there. So this video, I haven't made a video like this. I used to do this a little bit more frequently, but there's just this fascinating Twitter thread that I'm going to want to share with you. And, when I entered the world of crypto in late 2017, and especially the first half of, say, 2018 in particular, I learned a ton about XRP and Ripple and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, just because I joined the cesspool that is Twitter. And it's not as bad as I thought. I found there are good, normal people out there. I found out that the XRP community exists, and for that reason, I'm very thankful to be. That's like all that I follow on Twitter at this point, or ever, actually. But part of the way that I went about learning things is I'd watch people debate. I'd just read people debating from the Bitcoin maxi side, from the XRP community, and I was just coming in with no ideology. I would no bias whatsoever from when I joined in late 2017 and researching in 2018, and I just wanted to find out who was right. I just wanted the truth, period. And one of the ways I went about that is just by watching people debate and argue back and forth, and sometimes bicker and be little bitches. Like there was some of that going on, right? Because XRP is getting attacked. It's not the XRP community is going out and being a bunch of bitches attacking people. That's not it. It's just that XRP is under attack because it's viewed as a threat by Bitcoin Maximus, frankly, because there's real world utility here, and technologically it's completely superior. So and there's a couple of the big it's the high level reasons. But I learned quite a bit. And so what I'm going to share with you in this video, it's a perfect example of the type of thing that I would always read on Twitter, and then I just find out, when there's a back and forth, who at a point that the other side couldn't respond to. And then I'd find somebody else, ultimately, that was engaging in the same debate. Okay, maybe somebody else in this debate finds an answer. Eventually, you read through enough of the same debates, and you find out there just isn't an answer that's reasonable for the other side. They just give up. And there's some of that going on here. And there's one of the things that was cited in here is that settlement time doesn't matter. Like, there's all sorts of wacky claims made out there. And so first I want to read this tweet from the Bishop, which is unrelated to the thread that I'm about to show you, but I just thought it was a good way to preface it. And he writes, I don't have the capacity to argue with people about XRP's position in the cryptosphere like I once did. A few years ago, yeah. Now, nah. If people choose to ignore fundamentals, logic, and practicality, then so be it. Yeah, and I totally respect where you're coming from, and I get it. And, I don't really engage as much on Twitter as I used to. I'm spending enough time researching and putting out content on YouTube. I do less of the Twittering, if you will. But I really respect those that choose to fight the good fight, as it were. So let's go ahead and dig in. But first, if you would please delicately tap that like button and consider subscribing to the Moon Lambo channel, unless you hate every word coming out of my mouth, in which case you shouldn't, and why are you listening? All right, so here's what brought this thread to my attention. It's a tweet from XRP Phoenix, who tagged me and wrote this: Moon Lambo, have a good look at this mess. P.S. I ain't cleaning it up. And I was like, well, that caught my attention. What is this mess we're about to... And I'm about to share it with you, but I'm going to share with you my response to XRP Phoenix after I went through this thread, and then I will share with you the thread. My response was, in all caps, holy hell. And I went ahead and tweeted that out along with this gif of a guy smashing his head over and over and over again. Which seemed like the appropriate response after going through this. Take a look at this. I'm just here, we're scrolling to the top. Somebody named Buff Mage wrote, Bitcoin is not my safe word. XRP Phoenix wrote, XRP will be. Parman Nakamotian, I'll just call him Parman from here on out, wrote, LOL XRP. We have Bitcoin to fight the banks and governments, and people are still getting scammed by a bank-friendly token. Matt Hamilton, member of the XRP community, who was a software engineer at IBM, unrelated to his participation in the XRP community, but I always like to cite that when he's out here, because he has a tech background, is my point. And so Matt Hamilton says this: Bitcoin to fight the banks? How's that going for you? XRP seems to be doing a better job of democratizing finance and removing the power banks have than Bitcoin is. Parman responds, last time we spoke, I think XRP was 45 cents. Next stop, 15 cents. By the way, I would not hate it if that happened. Not that I want the price of XRP to go down. I'm just saying, if it happens, Moon Lambo going to take advantage of that, damn it. Matt Hamilton responded, and what was Bitcoin at? 22,000? Sorry, dude, 22K? Of course, in the United States dollars, it was closer to the 20. But anyway, Parman responds, I think 12. So maybe he wrote 12. Somebody else now jumps in. Pakal Voten. Let's call him Pakal here. You say you have Bitcoin to fight banks, and then the relevant point for you is its price? Those greedy bankers, right. And you're here for the tech, I suppose. And Parman responded to that, don't be ridiculous. Price is not the main factor, but it does represent constant buying in the face of constant selling by miners producing 1,800 per day at a profit, basically arbitraging the cost of electricity. Price indirectly reflects demand. And this is another reason I always think mining's kind of silly. So it does a couple things. It eliminates the double spend problem, and it's also a mechanism for distribution of Bitcoin. But look, you don't have to distribute Bitcoin in that way necessarily. And understand that eventually all Bitcoin will be distributed, and then what? No more Bitcoin to be mined. Just like it'll be kind of a little bit more similar to XRP in that sense, because XRP was never mined and it won't be mined ever. It was all created at inception there. Somebody named Straight Up responded, all the price represents is an ocean of whales. What do you think by the charts of the top 10 coins have moved almost synchronized? It has nothing to do with real-world adoption or utility. You dump S-word Bitcoin maximalists are getting effed over by whales. And then he's got a little Yoda gift that says, dumb you are, which is comical. Parman responds, you stone XRP. Was fast. At least he acknowledges that. Good for arbitraging across exchanges back in the day. But Visa is fast too. We don't need another payment system. Banks will not enrich XRP holders. They make their own. Just like central banks' attempts to make CBDCs, that central bank digital currencies, won't work. And this is another instance where fundamentally this particular Bitcoin maximalist does not recognize the cold hard fact that XRP is strikingly similar to Bitcoin from a fundamental perspective. Not technological, when I'm saying fundamentally what it is capable of doing technically, what people can do to build on top of the blockchain or the ledger, the same. In that you could use XRP as Satoshi Nakamoto initially envisioned Bitcoin to be used as a peer-to-peer cash system. And Bitcoin could be used by banks, if they so wanted, to be used as a bridge currency for cross-border payments. There's nothing to stop banks from adopting Bitcoin as a bridge currency. So if they want to say that XRP is a banker coin, I'm sorry. It's just those developers that want to build on top and use it for whatever they want because they're decentralized, they can. So when you start talking about Visa being fast and we don't need another one of those, no. Visa is not, they don't have a cryptocurrency, not even remotely in the ballpark, but this is the type of argument that you will get from Bitcoin maximalists. And so, there you go. Straight Up responded, again, read and learn. And what he posted here was a blog, which I finally got to read this yesterday. It only came out January 8th, so it's not that old, but I finally got to read this yesterday. And I feel like at some point I'm going to have to make a video and talk about this. It's a blog from Galgatron, which he titled The Case for XRP, and it is exquisite. If you have a chance now, go ahead. But I'm probably going to want to cover this at some point. It's just not time sensitive. There's so much news to cover each day, but I'm going to want to get into this. It's pretty lengthy, goes in depth, and conceptually where it's coming from, it's incredibly insightful. I'm completely on board, and it's along the lines of everything that I've been thinking for a couple of years now. Well, as I learned it, I've only been in the space for a little over 2 years at this particular point, but oh my God. And what's talked about here essentially is why utility matters, why price doesn't matter right now. Effectively, it's worthless. All the price action over the last decade, frankly, it's kind of worthless. And then talks about how value is different than price, and value is going to drive genuine adoption and ultimately price action. So a conversation for another day, but anyway, I had to cite that because Straight Up left that there. And then Parman left his own link. And I haven't read this whole thing, and I'm sure there's some truth to some of the points left in here. There's, how many, 10 points in here? 11 points in here about Bitcoin, such as Bitcoin is not too volatile. Bitcoin does not waste energy. Bitcoin is not too slow. I did look at that one, and that it seemed to me that they're just talking about it's not slow because you can build layer 2 technology on top. But if that's what they were really getting at, I'm sorry, Lightning Network doesn't work. It's a centralized solution requiring pre-funding of accounts, kind of like recreating like a Nostro Vostro type of situation, except for in the world of crypto. So Bitcoin is too slow. But anyway, I just thought I'd highlight those. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Straight up responded, I, compared to you, started reading the link you sent. I'm only at 0.4. Bitcoin doesn't waste energy. That's a joke and a pure lie. Can you point out anything wrong with the link I've sent you? I'm curious. Parman responds, a quick skim, lots of things I disagreed with, not worth my time. And oh my god, I gotta tell you, he's talking about Galvatron's blog, which I use the word exquisite. And to him, it's not even worth his time to learn about a viewpoint that is different than his own. Oh, Lord. Then he writes, if you are stuck on Bitcoin waste energy, we don't need to discuss anymore. So there you go, already shutting down conversation. This is the type of thing I'm familiar with Bitcoin maxis. And he writes, information is out there, plus well presented. I can't improve on Vijay Boyapati, Andreas Antonopoulos, Pierre Richard, Parker Lewis. Matt Hamilton responds, okay, forget energy. How about we go with Bitcoin is slow, expensive, and can't scale? To which Parman responds, price should be millions if it becomes ultimate SOV, a store of value. You only need to own a fraction and can be confident it will keep its value once it evolves, and at that time will be even more expensive. Matt Hamilton responds, how will it become an ultimate store of value if it can't scale? 7 transactions per second? Yeah, not going to work. Sorry. Now somebody named Adam jumps in here. This is his first tweet in the thread, and this guy's kind of fun here. So he writes this. You're clearly ignorant of final settlement mechanisms and layers of the BIS/IMF. Final settlement in gold typically occurs a few times a decade by shipment overseas of large amounts of gold costing millions of dollars. 7 transactions per second is not a problem for base layer settlement. XRP equals scam. This is completely laughable here. Now, Matt Hamilton jumps in there. Sure thing. You keep telling yourself that next time the network chokes up when a fraction of a percent of the population tries to use it. Why do you think XRP is a scam? Zero Doubt jumps in here. This is his first tweet and wrote because he doesn't hold any. Now Adam jumps back in and he wrote this. Damn right I don't hold any of that centralized scam S-word coin. I used to back in 2017, made a nice chunk of change off the scam. But then I wisened up. Eventually you apes will evolve too. Oh yes, we're apes here. Moon Lambo's definitely an ape. And, well wait, am I an ape or a bot? I thought I was a bot. No, I'm not sure. I don't even know who I am anymore. Matt Hamilton responds, wisened up to what? You mean you started to lose the ability to think critically and just started swallowing FUD? And Adam responded, how many times will you suckers need to be dumped upon to realize what's going on here? I genuinely feel sorry for your community. When you're ready to look into sound money principles and why Bitcoin is the only game in town, Immaculate Conception, Lindy Effect, etc., DM me. There you go. So Bitcoin, inferior as it is, no utility whatsoever, it is the quote-unquote only game in town. Oh my god. Not used for anything, but it's the only game in town. Matt Hamilton responds, dumped on, given that you know that Bitcoin miners sell more Bitcoin both in United States dollar terms and percent of supply terms than Ripple does sell XRP, that seems a strange assertion to me. And I always love that point when they're talking about Ripple dumping XRP. And look at that, again, the cold hard fact, in terms of USD, dollars and percent, more Bitcoin is dropped, or if you want to use the word term dumped, it's dumped by miners than Ripple is selling versions of XRP by those same parameters. Now, so it's a completely bogus argument. Parman responds, miners create Bitcoin 1,800 per day. They dump on buyers. It distributes Bitcoin, just like how gold miners mine gold and sell to demand. Bitcoin moves from miners to holders and has been distributing all over the world for 11 years. Distribution is a crucial part of money. And Matt Hamilton responds, right. So why do you think a system like that, which is designed to allocate in proportion to existing wealth, is any better than a system in which allocation is done by necessity? Good point. Parman responds, here you go. Parman writes, I'm wasting too much time. Have a nice day. We will never agree. And there you go. Capitulation on the part of Parman. And there you go. At that point, it's clear the debate has been lost by Parman. And there you go. And this is what I keep finding over and over and over again. Questions get too tough and it's over. Matt Hamilton responds, sure thing. Maybe go read up on how cryptocurrencies work. You might find it enlightening. Bye. And then Adam writes this. There is no need for cryptocurrencies. There's only Bitcoin. We'll see XRP in the altcoin dump sooner than later. Ripple doesn't even want that BS. You seem like a smart guy. Not sure how you still haven't got this. There's enough information for you to be educated by now. And it's funny because he says something like that, and from my perspective, and again, I came in without an ideological bend, without any sort of bias, whatever, when I started learning this. I just wanted the truth. And at this point, I see comments like that, because this is a person, mind you, is a completely different position than me. My whole thing is utility matters, and those coins that have utility will actually ultimately win the day and have staying power. His position is, nope, just one Bitcoin, because reasons? What the hell? I'm sorry, if it's that slow and there is no actual adoption in the real world, why is it perpetually going to have staying power? It's the reason it still is number one in market cap is because humans are still figuring this out. Isn't that enough evidence of that being the case with all the other cryptocurrencies just following Bitcoin? But it's not going to stay like that forever. There's no way in hell it's going to stay like that forever, because smart people are going to figure out that more and more smart people find out about the space over time, research it, and then go to the cryptocurrencies in terms of investing where they're actually getting used. So this is nonsensical. I don't see how it could be so difficult to comprehend such a simple concept. That is what's going to happen. But anyway, that's the gist of the thread right there. And so I tell you what, if you are not on Twitter, it's worth joining to communicate with the XRP community if you haven't done it. And if you are, I just hope that you can appreciate the type of people that fight back against this FUD. Because I'll tell you what, you might think, oh my God, why are these people wasting that time? But I don't feel that way. I learned a ton because of the people in our community that were willing to do this. It's not to change the mind of the person they're debating. It's to educate those people that are willing to take the time to learn. And I was one of those. I still am, because I don't pretend to know everything. I'm still learning. But I did a ton of that back in the day. And it's the reason that I learned enough to where I got to the point where I was like, I think I actually have something to contribute to the community now. It's because I learned from other people, and that I appreciate. So anyway, that's it for this one. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!